Hello again, YouTube. Welcome to another episode of Wired for Crappie. So today, we're going to talk about how to save money on your jig heads, okay? So those of you that like to fish brush piles, those of you who lose a lot of jig heads, if you shoot docks, you lose a lot of jig heads. Fish and brush is the worst. Obviously, we buy a lot of jig heads as crappie fishermen, and I'm going to show you guys how to save those pennies, save some of that hard-earned money, and get a huge assortment of colors for a pretty good price. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hope you enjoy the show. Alright guys, welcome back. So like I said before, I'm going to show you guys, those that buy a lot of jig heads like I do, because I go through a ton of jig heads, guys. Not only do I go through a lot of jig heads myself, but I go through a lot of jig heads when I'm guiding as well because, well, let's face it, we fish brush, we get jigs in the brush, we got to get down there and get the fish out, so I lose a lot of jig heads, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how I save a little bit of money buying my jig heads. It's a little time involved for me, but not much. You're going to see that here in just a little bit. But it saves a lot of money in the long run. And I'm going to show you a trick. So for those of you that have never seen a Pro-Tec powder paint, this is what they call Pro-Tec powder paint, okay? This is a great, fast, easy, inexpensive way to paint your jig heads, okay? And I've got a whole assortment of colors. So like I said, there's pink, you got your yellow, I got white, which you can see, I've used a lot of the white. Got the fluorescent orange, okay? Got red. Red's a huge jig head color for me. I love a red jig head. And then my personal favorite, as everybody knows, chartreuse. Okay, so powder paint or Pro-Tec, they make a huge assortment of different colors in their powder paint. You can get powder paint with glitter. You can get it with flake. You can get it a lot of different ways. Great company. I bought these just like you guys. I'm not sponsored by Powder or Pro-Tec, but they are a great powder paint, okay? And I've been using it for years. So, Matt, how do you save money, right? Well, it's easy, okay? So if you go to any jig maker out there, any jig maker or any store, you're gonna find that an unpainted jig head is cheaper than a painted head, right? So you can go buy your unpainted jig heads and they're cheaper than a painted head. You bring them home. There's a little upfront investment with these powder paints, but guys, I've had these for probably a decade. I mean, easily a decade. I've had these for a long time, and as you can see, I mean, I still have a lot left. I mean, you look at that pink. I hadn't used maybe, I don't know, half an inch out of there, and that's probably a 3-inch jar, 2.5, 3-inch jar. So, you know, you don't use a whole lot of this when you powder paint, okay? I've probably done, with that chartreuse, I've probably done 3,000 or more jig heads, probably more than that actually with that, and not even got through a quarter of it. So they last forever. You know, there's a little bit of upfront investment for all the colors that you want, but you save a ton of money in the long run by buying unpainted jig heads and powder painting them. What I typically do, guys, is this is my little can, okay? This is what I keep all my little powder paints in. I keep them all in here. All right, we're gonna do some chartreuse for you guys today. So I get my chartreuse out, and then I just leave my can sitting right here, okay? Just leave my little can sitting there. What I'll do is I'll open up this chartreuse. Let me get you guys a little closer so that you guys can see it. So let me show you. That's what that powder paint looks like, okay? It's just a powder, that's all it is. It's just a powder, okay? So let me show you, let me get you guys a little closer. All right, so for those of you that have powder painted before, what are the difficulties of powder painting? I guess the only real difficulty, well, there's two. So first and foremost, you don't want to get that jig head too hot. If you get that jig head too hot, it will actually boil your powder paint and it will turn it black. So it will actually turn it a black color, okay? Each size jig head is a little bit different with how long you need to hold a lighter to it. You gotta have a lighter, but for this is a 3/32, I'm thinking about 5, maybe 6 seconds under flame, and it's hot enough to dip, okay? So let me show you guys the trick. There is a trick to powder painting these jig heads, okay? If you hold the hook in your fingers and you heat this head up and you dip it in this powder paint, it's going to coat that eye of that jig head, and it's going to actually close that eye off, and you're gonna have to rather take a pair of needle nose and clean it off, or a pair of scissors and clean it off, or something to clean it off, or another hook and clean it off. You don't want to do that. Let me show you a little trick, okay? Trick I learned a long time ago. If you take a pair of needle nose, just any pair of old needle nose, and you grab the eye of the hook, okay? Right like that right there. You grab that eye, okay? You heat that jig head up. So again, about 5 seconds, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. And then you dip it in that powder paint, guys. Just dip it in there. Shake it off. There you go. You're ready to rock and roll. Okay? Then, when you open that up, you can see the eye of that jig is still open. Okay? The eye of that jig is still open. You can get your line through it, and you can put it in your box. You're ready to rock and roll. Now, what I do, that's why I have my little can right here. I take it, hang it on my can to dry, or to cool off, okay? And then back to another one. All right, so again, grab the eye of the jig, right there like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? Just dip it in there. All right. There you have it. Painted, ready to rock. Eyes open. Put it right down. Now, I'll link the ProTec website so you guys can look at that. Let's do a different color. Let's do a couple red ones. Okay, always shake it, get that powder loosened up a little bit, because they set. That powder gets tight, you want that powder to be loose. Oh yeah, ain't that pretty? All right, so again, grab the eye of that jig with those pliers, guys. Keep that eye clean. That's the secret for today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dip it in there. Shake it off. There's your red. It's that simple, that quick. You can do 50, 60 jigs relatively fast. I mean, hang it over here on our little box. Grab us another one. Same thing. There it is. Routine every time. And it coats really, really well, as you can see. I mean, it coats that jig head really well. It's great colors. I really, really like it. Like I said, I've been doing it for years. Let's do another color. Let's show you a pink. So I've been doing it this way for years, guys, saving a little bit of money. Plus, it gives me something to come down here and do. Let's get my mind off stuff sometimes. Look at that pink. Oh yeah, it's bright, isn't it? That blinds you guys. All right, grab that head. There it is, pink. Real men fish with pink, right guys? Real men fish pink. That should be a bumper sticker or something. Just dip it in, you're good to go. One quick dip is all it takes. It melts that powder onto that jig head. And the eye stays open. That's the most important thing. It's absolutely frustrating as all get out to have to dig those eyes clear. Let's do another color. Let's hit some white. Oop, we didn't shake it first. Shake, 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 shake. Break that powder up. It's been setting for a while. There's your white, guys. All right, last one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, guys. Well, I hope that helps. Again, ProTec powder paint. Go check them out. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description for where you can find these. They actually have a website here. It's www.csipaint.com. It's Component Systems Incorporated. They call it, again, ProTec powder paint. Very simple to use. Very effective, great colors. As you can see here, they've got all kinds of different colors. I'm not exactly sure how many different colors they have, but they have a lot. They do have paint that has metal flake in it. They have paint that has glitter in it. It really, really is a great company and great paint. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I buy those just like you guys do, but I've saved a lot of money over the years buying unpainted jig heads, which are generally cheaper, and then painting them myself. Plus, if I'm going to a lake where I know that I need pink heads, I can paint up a bunch of pink ones before I go. If I'm going to a lake where I know I'm gonna need red, then I can paint up a bunch of red, orange, yellow, chartreuse, white, whatever it is that I need, I can paint up when I need it. So I only have to stock unpainted jig heads on my shelf or on my board, on my pegboard, and then when I need them, I can paint them the color I need. So it's very, very effective. It's very efficient. It's great to have. So go check them out. I hope that helps you guys. Hope it helps you save a little bit of money. I appreciate you guys for watching. We'll catch you next week. Don't forget the lives on Wednesday night. And don't forget to subscribe. Our 10,000 subscriber giveaway is coming up. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm giving away a free crappie fishing trip with me in East Tennessee, whole weekend trip. I will pay for your motel room while you're here, and I will pay for your fishing license. All you'll have to cover is your food and your gas to get here and while you're down here. And then we will choose one lucky subscriber for that. Fish 2 different lakes in East Tennessee, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a blast. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I appreciate y'all for watching. As always, God bless. We'll see you later.